How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Fast Hands Gaming. I'm your boy Fast, and today we're going to be going over Raid Wars. Now, I was hesitant to do this only due to the fact that it's basically just me talking to you. I'm not going to be able to show you a lot of how the mechanics work or anything like that, which I don't really like doing, but I did have a lot of people last night in World Chat saying just do it, or it's more than fine with us. So I'm going to do my very best to explain Raid Wars by words and pretty much words alone. The first thing to know, Raid Wars is a super grind fest. It's more grindy than you just doing your dailies of grinding your beasts. It's non-stop attacking for the most part. So how Raid Wars works is it is separated by rounds. Each round is roughly about 7 hours. So you get 3 rounds a day before reset. Now, in those rounds, when the round starts, you go in and then you can go and buy your flames. The flames are what are used to attack. You buy these flames and they usually come in the hundreds. The cost to buy these, if you look here, are the energy packs. So, when you go in, for usually the first round of Raid Wars, very first round, it's going to be 5 energy packs for 100. And then it's going to shoot up to a 10, 20, and then obviously get higher and higher. Now that's just the first round. The round after that, the second round, is going to be 5, 5, 10, 20. So keep that in mind. And those energy do stack. So the flames will stack. So say you can only buy, say you buy 200 round 2, or round 1, sorry. And then the round ends. Those will not go away. So you can stack and stack and stack flames to the very last day and then go all out. I don't suggest that at all, but I just want to make sure people know those do stack. They don't go away to the end of the event. The energy packs will burn through obviously very fast, but at the end of the event, if you pull them from the chest, energy packs and obviously do not go away. The other item that you use when you're playing Raid Wars are these cinders. Now these cinders add a extra amount of points when you attack. So when you go in, you'll pick one of your beasts before hitting a base, and I'll get into that in a minute. So typically you can push, obviously give your beast an attack and HP boost. Well, now when you do Raid Wars, you have this little cinder that you can click on, and it'll add an extra 100 points to every attack. Now, these do stack. So when you go into a base and you attack it, if you use 3 beasts, all with these cinders, that's an extra 100 points per beast. However, doing so means less chests. So every time you attack, you'll get chests. And those chests are dependent on how big of an attack you do. So I'll go ahead and cover that now. So when you go in, you're going to be facing 10 teams. Those 10 teams are based on your division. If you guys don't know what division you're in, I'll cover this real quick. Go to leaderboards, go to your division, and it'll set you in a rank. It's 1 through 10, obviously 11, and so on. Each division only has 10 teams, so keep that in mind. It's very easy to find out who's going to be in your division, who's going to be the competition. I've already scoped out all 10 teams in my division. Yes, and I know that some of you I talked to. So yes, I've already looked at your teams, so I know what's going on. Now, that being said, you'll go in, and the attacks are 4 cost, 20 cost, and then a mega attack. And I'm sure some of you will understand how that works from other things. Now, the 4 attack will only be for a few points, obviously. 20 fires will give you a bigger attack, and then obviously the mega. And it goes 125 points for the 4. You get 620 for the 20. And then a mega attack is 1350 in points. So you use 4 flames to do 1 attack. That's regularly just going to be 125 points. Now you add your cinders to that. That's 225 points. And then obviously I'm guessing you guys can understand if you were to use 3 beasts, then that's an extra 300. So yes, it's 425 points. And the same thing for the others. Now, like I said though, a regular attack will usually give you bronze chests, and then I've had, by the end of a vet, probably about 3,000. So you get chests in Raid Wars like nothing else. 20 will usually give you a silver, and then obviously mega attacks give you gold chests. And they give you some gold and other stuff as well. But the cost is a lot higher, and I'm going to leave that up to how people want to play the game. Obviously, megas aren't always going to be worth it, but it depends if you have the resources to constantly do megas. I mean, that's a mega attack, because they cost 100 flames and cinders. So keep that in mind. It's about 20 cinders and 100 energy. So you're losing a lot if you really were to go back and just use that 100 energy and those 20 cinders and just do either the normal or the big attack. Now, the next part is how do you attack other teams? When you go in, you're going to have all the teams kind of in a giant circle floating in space. And you can kind of see like their kingdoms. You can click on any team, and the team will be from the highest level player to the lowest level player. Obviously, the points will be divvied out. Highest level player will be worth the most. Lowest level will be worth the least. Now, keep that in mind. Not all teams have the same level players. So what that means? If you go in and you hit a level 70 player for 125 points, just a regular attack, and then you go and hit another team whose highest level player is 33, you're going to get the same amount of points. It doesn't matter. It's been like that for as long as I can remember, so keep that in mind. Obviously, if you wanted to show off and grind XP, then yeah, you can keep hitting high-level players, but keep in mind, low-level players are worth the same amount. I'm not saying, be a monster and just grind on a low-level player for the whole entire event. It's not like I've ever done that at all, ever, I promise. But it's definitely something to keep in mind. The next thing to understand is I guess the whole event is made up of rounds. So how the rounds work is there's 7 hours, so basically 3 rounds before reset every day. And this amount of time, at the very end of each round, roughly about 2 hours, you will unlock your raid ships. Now, how these raid ships work is you have a small, medium, and large ship. Obviously, the small is going to be considered your speed ship. It usually takes about 15 minutes. Next one is going to be about, if I remember correctly, is about 30 minutes, and then the last one's 45 to an hour. Now, each of these ships obviously are different sizes. That means that they can steal different amount of resources. The whole event is based on how many crystals, and that's the currency each team has. That's how many crystals you can get by the end of the event, and that's what it's going to be based off of. That's personal attacks, and then what your team obviously can win throughout the event. And then each round, when it ends, all the crystals that your team collected that round are calculated and then put into the score. So, how the raid ships work, and the big thing for people to understand, obviously they have different times. Now, if you go in and you set the hour raid ship, the biggest one, to go hit a clan, and you only have 45 minutes left, you will lose those resources. So keep that in mind. Timing is crucial. The next big thing is, honestly, don't hit or send raid ships to teams that have players that are obviously high in points. The raid ships are worth, right off the bat, 225 points. So you can, if you send a raid ship, because they have HP, so you can attack the raid ships, and then you want to. But just like when you go into the team, it'll be highest to lowest. And the point is, when you're getting raided, you want to kill that ship as fast as possible so they don't steal your resources, obviously. However, If you send it to a team that's full of people who have a lot of high points, guess what? Why would they really care about taking down your ship when they can just keep doubling their points? Because the cinders do work as well. So really keep that in mind. Be smart when you raid, and be smart with what teams you raid. Big thing to understand. And a lot of teams, I'm sure, will probably learn that the hard way. Now, the next thing is you can attack people with anything you want, any creatures. What I recommend as a big tip, go back and get your expert beasts and grind free XP onto them. Obviously, if you didn't know, you can go and you can use the transfer button, which for the longest time was broken. I mean, it was thousands of diamonds to transfer XP, and now it is beautiful. It's super cheap, and it definitely works. So keep that in mind. And it's always fun to go back and bring some of your older creatures. I love, personally, to go back to tier 2 and see how many high level bases I can take out with just tier 2. Usually Harsith, because he's, if you guys don't already know, he's kind of one of my favorites. Just all around, just great. Love the green snake. Anyway, next. Like I said, there are rounds, and then by the end of each round, you mega attacks will also be disabled. So don't forget that. So basically, when your raid ship's open, you're no longer allowed to do mega attacks. Now, I'm pretty sure that for the most part covers everything. You know how to look for your what teams are in your division. I went over. Only officers and leaders. Me looking at this reminded me. Only the officers and leaders can send your raid ships. So make sure you've got, really active officers and leaders. Because if you don't, you can't really send them. And then if anyone didn't know, just general tip, officers outside of raid wars in a team have no power, at all. It's all, the leader has to do the majority of it in game. Luckily, I've been fortunate and have gotten a lot of good players on my team. So they help me outside the game deal with all the team issues and whatnot. So definitely big recommendation is have a chat outside the game. It just helps a lot. Also, this video is made in collaboration with Ubersoft under the Clash of Beasts content creator program. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I had to throw that in there. I believe for the most part that does cover everything I need to cover with you guys. Obviously, if you have any questions, hit me in game. I'm going to be getting off here and going right back in the game. You can find me on Discord, on the main Discord. You can always hit me up on YouTube. I'm always here. I'm here for the community. Also, I want to give a giant shout out to Global Chat. Since Global has dropped, I have been, for the most part, completely blown away with the amount of very kind and just genuinely good people I have met in Global Chat. For the first time in a lot of, most games have some toxic players. I am very proud of the people I talk to. We may be, rivals, enemies, but we're all human at the end of the day. And it's very heartwarming to come into a game, especially when you love it, and you can just talk to anybody. And that's special. That's probably why I love this game as much as I do, and why I try so hard just to help people. So, again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. I will do my very best. I hope I was able to kind of help some of you wrap your mind around how this event's going to work. Basically, first day, trial by fire. That's how it's going to be. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a great night. I'll catch you next time. Peace.